What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. Another somber event that seems to be endless, whether you drive for Uber or Lyft. Another major metropolitan city, another rideshare driver in the news for all the wrong reasons.
Police are still looking for four men they say drove by a Lyft driver and started firing. Now we're learning new details about that driver and the family he left behind. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza joins us from the intersection of Roosevelt and Blue Island Avenue where this happened. Sabrina.
Milton Fernando Piacela Ayora moved to the United States from Ecuador 15 years ago, the eldest brother to three younger siblings. His family tells CBS 2 he just wanted to find a better life, working part-time at a restaurant and part-time for Lyft when this happened. He happened to be on the phone with one of his younger brothers when shots rang out, a brother's last moments heard on the other line. Now a memorial stands where Piacela Ayora was stopped at a red light where that call ended.
You never know what you're going to get when you pick up a passenger.
Lenny Sanchez represents rideshare workers in Illinois.
These are good individuals, hardworking, honest people that are taking these risks and having to deal with the aftermath of it, and these families that have to pick up the pieces afterwards. It's just heartbreaking.
This attack was by no means the first of its kind. We've been telling you about attacks on rideshare workers for months.
You're sometimes picking up somebody that has the intention of either scamming you for your earnings or trying to rob you of your belongings. Or in this case, they're using you to evade a crime.
In this latest case, police have not confirmed who was the intended target. The driver's family believes it was a passenger. A 34-year-old man shot in the legs, taken to Stroger Hospital, and expected to make a full recovery. Now, we have reached out to Lyft to see if they have a response to all of this, and they have not gotten back to our request. We will keep following up. Meanwhile, police say they are still looking for the four people that drove off in that vehicle. There are no arrests at this time. We're on the near west side. Sabrina Franza, CBS 2 News.
Sabrina, thank you.
That driver came here from Ecuador, according to his family, 15 years ago, seeking to better his life, only to have it taken away as a rideshare driver driving for Lyft. It is getting to be really distressing presenting what it is like in the life of a rideshare driver doing these videos, because I try to keep things as current as possible. I don't want to present old news, so anything you see on this channel is very current. And there is no shortage of rideshare drivers that are losing their lives just simply trying to usher passengers from point A to point B. Now, this happened in the city of Chicago, being candid, my birthplace, my hometown, 30 years plus in that city. And I don't know what else I could advise when you're trying to earn a living as a rideshare driver in a fucking war zone. I don't know what else to say. God bless you drivers that do wee hours of the morning trips in the larger urban metropolitan cities, because this is the time when shit like this is most likely to take place. Now, two things I always advocate, I don't know if they would have helped in this case, but the two issues I always tell drivers, any driver that's in this game, you should be armed on every trip with every passenger every damn time. Carry the strongest amount of arms that you're comfortable carrying. If it's a firearm, God bless you, knife, blade, screwdriver, or even simply some mace. In addition to that, which is a bit more controversial, I always advocate using the power of discrimination. Now, in this case, you're talking four males pulled up alongside the vehicle, according to the news story, and opened fire on this rideshare driver's vehicle. In a city like Chicago, on the west side, I know where this happened. I know the streets and the map of Chicago. It's nothing but people that look like yours truly. Period. I'm just simply going to tell you that. This is not a civil rights program. Damn it, discriminate. If you feel unsafe, if you feel your life is in jeopardy, Who gives a shit what someone calls you? As long as at the end of the day, they're not referring to you as dead. So in a city like Chicago, a major urban metropolitan area like that has a hell of a lot of crime, I could not advocate anybody doing wee hours of the morning trips. However, I know a lot of you folks prefer those type of trips because there's less traffic out and things of that nature, but that's the time when this stuff is most likely to happen. Now, even though I advocate being armed on every trip, a car with 4 gentlemen in it or men in it pull up and open fire, ain't shit you can really do in a case like that. You could try to speed off, you could try to duck down or whatever, but for the most part, nature is going to take its course on that. You're pretty much up to the mercy of how well they can aim. That's just a straight up ambush. 4 guns opening up on you from a surprise position. Now, the only issue, I suppose, that might limit this is the power of discrimination. I mean, he picked up a 34-year-old male, which I wouldn't advise anybody to run away from. I mean, if a 34-year-old male wanted to get in my vehicle, I would take that trip all day. I mean, it's just one guy. You don't know he's running from this kind of fucking drama. I mean, I suppose I would advise you to keep your head on a swivel and look at the face of who's getting in your car. Does he look like he's frightened out of his damn mind? But there's not much you can do in a case like this. This is just a very unfortunate circumstance that I don't know what advice you could give a driver. And I invite my veteran drivers in the comments section, if you've had anything remotely close to something like this happening, where you picked up a passenger that apparently was trying to escape drama, were you able to see any red flags at all? That the passenger you picked up may have had somebody tailing them or somebody trying to do harm to the passenger and was willing to do harm to you to stop the vehicle to get to that passenger. Has anybody out there had that? Maybe you picked up somebody's wife and they had a domestic issue where the boyfriend was willing to cut off your vehicle to get you to stop or something like that. Yours truly, I've never had anything remotely as bad as what we're talking about here, but I do realize it happens. I've done videos on it where a boyfriend was chasing the rideshare vehicle's car, wanted it to stop, tried to cut it off. So it does happen, but I don't know how you can advise folks who are just simply trying to earn a decent living how to avoid this shit. There's no way, particularly in a city like Chicago, that's a damn war zone. Because I'm doing videos nowadays of people trying to carjack us, even in broad daylight. I did a video out of Baltimore. I've done several videos because there's been so many carjackings in Baltimore. Just this fall and this winter alone, I think they got to be around 50. New Orleans is having a hell of a lot of them. I talked about in Detroit where they are now using ligatures to choke the shit out of drivers before stealing their vehicles. And in this news story, you hear the reporter state that they have reached out to Lyft and Lyft has not responded. What the hell are they going to say? Happens every day? That might be a sensible response for Lyft. Oops, it happens every day, because every single story that I present, in every case, the reporters reach out to either Uber or Lyft. They tend to release what looks like prefabricated statements saying the same shit. Nothing comes out of that. Lyft is not going to contribute anything at all to the family of the deceased. They're not going to obviously pay for any funeral arrangements. I would highly doubt they even send as much as a card. This is what we deal with in this profession. If something happens to us, you're not going to hear from Uber or Lyft at all, or better yet, your loved ones that carry on in your absence. They're not going to get any damn thing from Uber or Lyft. In fact, I've done videos with law enforcement suggesting that Uber and Lyft is not even cooperating with them because they want to protect their own liability. No way, no how would Lyft or Uber ever want to be forced to admit the individual they put in your vehicle that led to you being killed was someone that should have never been able to request a ride in the first place, such as this individual here. Now, obviously, this individual, the passenger in this vehicle, 34 years of age, lost his life. He was not the killer. He was the victim of it. However, did he have a whole rap sheet full of felonies? Was he a passenger that should have been in that vehicle? So that still is worth something that is worth finding out for the family, because they screen us. They do background checks on us. How many of you have had your damn account deactivated, such as myself? Uber deactivated my account randomly, and it took me 3 weeks to get reactivated while they did a background check. Just for no reason at all, they decided to do a random background check. Meanwhile, I'm picking up passengers named Boo Boo and Slick with no profile pictures. What kind of shit is that? And that has happened to me, I think, twice with Uber. Now, I do most of my driving for Lyft because in my market, they offer more bonuses and promos and things like that. And I don't drive unless there's some type of bonus or streak being offered. So I tend to drive more for Lyft. But Uber deactivated me in search of getting a background check. Now, I've been with Uber since 2014. This happened in 2022 and in 2019, I believe. So just random deactivations so that they could do a background check. And in both cases, it took me damn near a month to get my account reinstated. Even though I'm contacting them, letting them know what the hell's taking so long. If you are at a regular corporate job and they do a random background check on you, a random drug test, they don't lay your ass off for 3 weeks while they wait for the results to come back. Why Uber or Lyft decides to deactivate the account over someone who has done nothing wrong until they get the background check makes absolutely no sense at all. What they're essentially doing is treating you as if they have found something until they find nothing at all. This is yet more of that shit where you see folks going on strike and trying to come up with city councils and commissions to overturn. Why are you deactivating folks who have done nothing wrong while you run a random background check? Why not just run a random background check and leave them activated until you find something? That's awful. Has that happened to you guys? Nevertheless, back to the actual topic though. I just really feel sorry for yet the loss of another driver. This is happening particularly to these immigrants. It's even worse. And I tell you folks all the time, when you're driving, when you're engaging in ride sharing, try your best not to look like food. What I mean is if you look like food, you're more likely to be eaten. Look like you know what the hell is going on. Do not have any hesitation in either using your rearview mirror or turning your head around and staring your passenger in the eye. Do not look like you're cowering and shit like that. That's the type of thing that leads a lot of passengers to feel you're weak. You know, this is just how this game works. So do not look like food. Always look like you are about your wits, but carry some shit. Keep your ass armed. Anyhow, as always, I hate bringing these videos to you, but nevertheless, it is your boy Tim. Subscribe to the damn channel, and I'll see you in the next one.